Hey everybody, Rex here. In this video, I'm going to show you how I made this really cool image on canvas. Take a look at that. And I'm going to show you my initial experiments and failures. And then at the end, of course, you're going to see how I finally figured out how to pull this off. I hope you enjoy this video. I certainly enjoyed the experiment. Let's get right into it. What I'm going to be doing here is I'm going to be using these 8 by 10 inch canvas panels. They're painting canvas panels. They're just, you know, standard canvas panels. You paint on them. They're really affordable. Okay, now for my next panel, same thing. We're going to protect it first. So I'm going to get the Kmart varnish. Step one, we want to protect the image, okay? Especially for what we're going to do next, because we're going to pre-wet the paper right after gluing just to make it lay flat initially and then let it dry. That should be interesting. Okay, we want to do a dusting. We'll let that dry, or we can give it a little bit of a head start with the little hair dryer here, this heat gun. Let's do another coat, last coat. Go the opposite direction. There we go, and that's it. We'll give that a dry. And then we'll move on to the next step. All right, that's done. Now we'll move that off to the side. And what we're gonna do now is our gluing. So we're gonna take our board, another new board, stick it on there, and we're going to apply our gel medium as usual. Done. I didn't realize that this sponge brush had it in it. All right. Okay. I'm gonna scrape some of this off my sponge bob here. I overdid it a little bit. Okay. We don't want any space left untouched. Okay, there we go. Nice. A nice thin layer. Take out any artifacts that don't belong on there. Put this down here. We're going to put this on top. Okay. Now, here's the thing I want to do that's a little different. Okay, we have some. Oh, we got some tears from too much glue. Okay, we got areas that isn't sticking right away. So let's say we take the brayer and we do this. Okay, and we don't want to keep going over and over and over again. So just kind of go over a couple of times here. And if you find you're having trouble, it won't stick. Here's the idea. Give that a mister, and that thing is going to stick. Okay, be careful because it's wet now. Okay, so we're gonna do this. Paper's gonna want to wrinkle. Now this is an experiment. I've never done this before. We'll find out if it was a good idea later. pre-activating the paper before the glue's even dry is kind of weird, but it is giving me an opportunity to easily get these air bubbles out, whereas when the paper's dry, and it's because the paper's so large that it gives me trouble. I'm just hoping the image won't crease on me. That's the part we got to be concerned about. Back to this again. Flat down. Plug it in. Okay. And put a heavy object right on top. And let that percolate for a couple and dry and see what happens. This should be interesting.
3 hours later.
All right, nice and warm. Okay. So let's go ahead and moisten this. See if we can get a good transfer. Okay. All right, so it's moistened, and then I have taken off the excess moisture. So now we will just simply peel this away, and it would seem that we have, oh, look at that. Came out really, really nice. Okay, so that method works too, because it didn't have any kind of flaws in here that I can, well, except where the paper tore right there. Okay. We're going to start with a new canvas board. A new subtle background image. We're going to go with Aleene's tacky glue. That's full coverage, I'm sure, with this really sticky tacky glue. We'll find out. If it doesn't work, I'll just do it again, right? And then align it with this. Make sure you got it on there. I didn't spray this to protect it, so I've got to get this on the first time, only time. Press that on best you can, flip it over. Now we want to get this air bubbles out. Get your brayer, start from the middle. You need a flat surface. This thing is not flat. It's moving around too much. All right, let's see how we did with this. I'm gonna release it, release the hounds. Some water, and we don't. Okay, that does not look good at all. That glue is fired. I'm going to actually cover it with this white paint that I have right here. So you just see it's just a light coat, because you don't want to wet the paper. And you actually want this to go on dry. As the coat dries and I put it on thicker, I can get a little more aggressive because it's already got a protective coat on there. Okay, so here is my safari image. You can probably make it out through the light there, see? But I've painted it white in the garage. Now, that was just a couple hours ago. I'm gonna let this sit overnight. Just make sure this is really dry and cured and whatever. Again, we're gonna wait until tomorrow before we transfer that on. But what I can do now, this is all dry, is I can apply this lion that I had already weeded. And put a, what do you call it, a transfer tape on top so I could pull this off, like so. Now, I'm not going to put this directly on here. We've been through this before. What I'm going to do is I'm going to grab a shirt, or good as a shirt. It's a cloth, and I'm going to just apply this onto the cloth like so a number of times. Till I weaken the tack. I don't want the tack to be so strong that it'll stay on the canvas, otherwise it's just going to come off with my transfer thing. Now we're going to apply it. Start. I'm going to pick these out and then we'll glue it on. So here's what I'm going to do. I'm going to use this as a mask for the glue itself. Once the glue is nicely put on here, we're going to immediately take off the mask, leaving just the glued image, the image in a glue shape. And then we're going to just put this right smack on top, and that should work. Looks like I'm going to need a lot more than that. Don't get too stingy here. Make sure you cover all the open spaces of this lion image if we want to get the whole thing there. Okay, so I have got glue now. I've got glue. Make sure you don't have anything on here. You don't want to glue anything onto the board. Okay, now let's start by getting rid of this. And be careful not to push any of that glue around, because that glue is our image. And let's get the rest of this up. You can see the glue there in the lion shape. Now before that dries, let's get our paper on there. I'm just going to do it like this. Don't touch any of the glue. Put it right on. You get one shot. Once it's down, it's down. Right there. Don't move it. Don't move it. Okay. And we want to get underneath this. We want to slowly brayer it out. Get good contact. And it's only going to glue where the lion is. Okay, there we go. That's it. Don't do anything else. Now, we get underneath this. I'm going to move it for a second because I want to get all this out of the way. And let's bring our thing over here carefully. Just gonna run my hand over it, make sure everything is down. It feels like it's down. Okay, and to make sure it stays down, we will and just leave that for a couple hours or so. Okay, it's been a few hours, and now it's time for the big reveal. It either worked or didn't work. So, move that out of the way. Let's see if we have ourselves finally our lion. All right, and we'll take a clean, dry paper towel, sop up the excess. Here we go. This is it. Drum roll. What in the world? Okay, it all came off, but that don't look like a lion. Not only that, but it didn't even. Oh, wait a minute. Oh. Okay. There's parts on here that's not glued, and that should make it look like a lion, I guess. So, the question is, how am I gonna find that part? Do I rub it? Huh. Let me see. Here's what it should look like. So, I'm going to assume. Oh, look at that. Look at that. It just comes off. Okay. Let's see if that's going to do it then. You can see what I'm trying to do. You know, nice little background, safari in a lion's head. I mean, that would have looked really nice had it came out right. But I'm not gonna scratch a whole lion in here. That's just ridiculous. So, now for plan number 49. So far I've tried that, I've tried that, this one, which is the best one so far, but there's no background on it. So I'd like to have a background on it. So that didn't come out the way I wanted. That one definitely. So I'm going through all this so you don't have to. I'm gonna get this figured out. We'll get this done. Okay, so I'm gonna try something else here. Now I've gone through a whole lot of these canvas boards during these experiments. So what I did is I just took one that was messed up and I spray painted it white yesterday. So you can probably see a little evidence of that somewhere. I think it's covered up pretty decent, and it's been dry for 24 hours, so we're good. Now, what I've decided to do is to take my transfer image and to see, cut it out. And I use my cutter. You can use an X-Acto knife if you don't have a cutter, but I cut it out on the machine. As you can see, there's the actual printout, which that might actually produce an interesting reverse thing where you can just spray paint this or something. But anyway, we'll take that out of there. And I use that low tack transfer tape to hold on to the pieces, as you can see right here. Now it's not going to look like this, it's going to look like this, but with that image on it, but it's mirrored, see, so it's going to be that way. Now here's the tricky part. I want to get this on here, and the only way I can do that is to glue this transfer paper onto here, and then when it's dry, moisten it and peel the paper off. But I'm going to have this plastic thing that I have to contend with, and whether or not after I glue this down I'll be able to peel it off and leave the paper behind. So we're going to find that out right now, and it's either going to work or it's not going to work. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to coat this paper. I'm going to use gel medium. I can put it right on the image, and I'm just going to put a thin coat of the gel medium on here. I'm not rolling it this time because of the fact that I only want to get it just on the, that's already lifting here, unfortunately. That's not going to be good. All right, so I'm gonna hurry up and put this line down, like so, and I'm going to just where the line is. I don't want to put too much pressure anywhere else. Not that it matters, they'll come right off the canvas. Well, let's just say if we can get this part done without too much fuss. The only other thing I worry about is that I may put too much gel medium. Let's see if that's going to lift. Well, it is, but I have a very interesting result here. Okay, this apparently was not protected. My mistake. This is not a protected image. I should have protected it, so I'm going to have to do this again. I can already see smearing from the wet glue, but I think we have something here. I think I figured it out. So we'll go ahead and finish this test. Okay, and we'll just give that a couple of minutes. Now I'm going to go ahead and lift. Would you believe it? I didn't even have any glue. It was already dry up here. Oh. But you can see where I'm getting at. Alright, so this one here didn't work, but it's going to work. Put the background on first like we did before. And just to let you know, I've already sprayed this lightly with Kmart varnish, and I also did the same for the actual image that will end up. You can see it shining right there because it's still drying, and that's going to be the lion head. All right, we're up to date. Let's do this. I'm feeling very confident here, very confident. Oh, let me get that out of the way before I lose my confidence. So just put some gel medium on your canvas. Make sure you have enough, but not too much, okay? The reason we're using the roller is because it makes a nice, uniform, glued surface. Though it worked all this time, there we go. And I have to remember to wash that puppy. Now, we've got glue all over the place that I don't want on my transfer paper. So I have to remove this for this next step. And I'm just going to go ahead and do it on my tabletop here. But I'm going to put my image down and flip this over, and I can see where the image is underneath, and you just want to lay it down right on the image itself, and then press it down really good. Okay, that's to get it started. Now we'll lift it, turn it. You can see it's already pretty flat, but now I'm going to just take my big old brayer here, and you can see it's starting to buckle. Got the paper gets moisture from the glue, the gel medium, and it starts to buckle. So you want to get in there with your brayer and just kind of gently roll out as much of this as you can. Using a different kind of glue, the airy TurboTack glue, and found that held to the glaze. And you know, it's just an experiment. And then not only that, but if you watch those t-shirt transfer videos that I've done, the different ways I figured out how to transfer images on the t-shirt on the cheap, and using DTF powder and all kinds of different things, spraying it first to give it some underside protection. And anyway, I'm not going to rehash my whole history on this channel. Just trying to encourage you all to subscribe. Don't forget to do that, because always coming up with something really cool for those of you who love doing transfers and crafts and things like that. But looks like I got everything. Looks about as flat as I'm going to get it. And the other thing that I recently decided to start doing was use the seedling heat map. I'm going to put this heavy, it's filled with paper. You can hear it. We're going to put that down here, and that's going to keep it flat while it percolates on this mat for a few hours. Then we'll come back and we'll release it. Now, while this is going to go ahead and sit here for a few hours, we're going to prepare the second part. This is the part that I figured is going to work. So let's get right into it. We don't have to wait for this. We'll just slide this down the desk here and get it out of the way. Now what we're going to do is we're going to work on this. And it looks like this is now dry, so perfect. This is going to be in the shape of a lion's head. And again, that's the lion's head. So what we're going to do is we're going to give this a clear plastic backing. We're going to use the low-tech tape that we've been using. 9 inches should be perfect. Like my ironing pad here has a cloth thing and it works. So you're going to de-tack it. You can also use a lint roller and stuff like that. Just cause this thing to weaken. You want to get it weak. And then I'm going to take another sheet of paper here, and I'm going to test it. And it's pretty strong still. See, it's too strong. So, but we'll just clean it up a little bit. Let's see if I can get under there. I'm poking a hole through my carrier here. I don't want to do that so much. Let's see here. All right, so let's get under there and pull that up.
A few moments later.
So you don't have to, and I'll tell you what my final settings are when I'm done. with this once I find it works. But it's time for me to print another safari image. I'll be back. Currently on my 3rd day of a water only fast. I'm going for 7 days this time. So I just kind of been keeping myself busy with a bunch of stuff. Anywho, let's get this out of the way. All right, well, I guess that's good enough. And as usual, get a clean, dry paper towel. Just take up the excess once you know that it's absorbed. It looks like it's absorbed pretty good there. So I'm gonna just take the excess off. I just lay it down and press it. That's all I usually do. See, there it is, simple. All right, so here we go. Let's see what we got here. Looks like easy peel off. And it looks like 100% so far. Yeah. All right, look at that. Woo! Yes, step 1 is done. And look at that. Okay, ladies and gentlemen, it is now the next day in the afternoon. This has got a nice coating of Mod Podge protection on it. And now for the final part of this. Okay, so I bought this clear laminate. And it's made by Duck. And you get 10 square feet of it. It's 12 inches by 10 feet, so there's a lot of it here. And it's like, I don't know, $2-3 at Walmart. It's really cheap, so I bought like a small little case of it. It's not worth having things delivered, you know, just for one roll. But I'm sure I'll find something to use it for anyway. And the question is, whether this has less tack than using the low tack transfer. So let me get my cutting mat here. I want to test this out. Might as well test it first. And we'll cut a small piece off here. Okay. Now let's see. Well, I'm just going to use a regular sheet of paper. This is not transfer paper. It's actually weaker, so if it can deal with that, it can deal with anything. And then we just peel it off. Hopefully. There we go. Now that came off really easy. So that's pretty sticky though. But let's see. I'm going to put it on. I'm going to put it on here. I don't want to ruin my picture. So let's say we use this as the transfer medium. And now I want to peel it off. Hey, I think we have the solution here. Look at that. All right. Now I'll put it on there. That's it. I think we have it. I think we have it. Yes. And like I said, it's only $2-3, really cheap. It wasn't designed for this, it was designed for a drawer. So this is gonna work out great. Okay, the moment of truth. We have our background image all nice and dry and protected. And we have the image that we're going to put down on here, like so. Now, what I have found through my many mistakes is that I am not going to be able to just glue this whole thing down because it also glues the plastic down, and then I can't peel any of it up. So what we're gonna have to do is I'm going to need to, I'm either going to put glue on here and then peel it off and put it on here, or I'm going to have to put the glue on here. Now, I'm worried about putting the glue on here, on this, because then it'll make it kind of hard to actually peel it up. So I'm going to avoid doing it that way. I'm going to just put the glue down on here instead. So it's not going to be as targeted, but I think it's the best way to go, because every time I've tried to do anything on this carrier itself, it has made things really, really difficult. So what I want to do is I want to get an idea of how much of this, I don't want to glue the whole thing unnecessarily. So it looks like right here, I think what I'll do is I'll use tape. That's it. I'll use some tape. Time for me to get smart, you know. It can take a while, but hopefully I'll get there. All right, so here's the thing. I'm going to put that here. Okay, so that's the upper area. And it's painter's tape, so it's not gonna pull anything off. And then just go ahead and tape the bottom. It's not really a lot of area that I'm saving here, but I just don't want to do anything more than I have to, if you know what I mean. So I'll do that and put this the correct way, like this. So I will avoid excess glue here. I will avoid excess glue here. Okay, and then finally I will avoid excess glue here. All right, so this is the area I'm going to put my glue. Now, in choosing the glue, I think we'll go with the gel medium, since we've been doing that. Transferring onto wood, for example, it's porous and it's going to want to suck in all that moisture. Now, here we go. This is it, folks. Okay, might as well just leave that alone, I guess. Now I'm going to carefully peel this off. Let me see if I could do something here. If I put this on here like so, I know the plastic's on, but I'm just curious. Get that eyeball on there. No, okay. So much for curiosity. I'm gonna go ahead and peel this off the carrier. Comes off the carrier easy enough, but you gotta be careful you don't rip the paper. That's the only thing, just don't rip the paper. Hopefully I can do this before this sets up. I'm telling you, I didn't consider the fact that this has so many little details that I have to be conscious of. Moving it off to the right here so I don't drop it on. Let me get this little piece off we're gonna need. Okay, that's the eye. All right, so I got it off the carrier. Now I'm going to lay it down on here like so. Use my finger, just carefully make sure I don't distort it in any way, and I definitely don't want to get any glue on the back where the paper is. Okay, now let's get the eyeball in there, which looks like I need that down. Okay, that looks like this. Yep. There we go. All right, so now I'm going to take the clear plastic thing that I have for this purpose that I like to use so nothing gets on my brayer, and we're going to brayer so that it gets good contact. And we are successful in transferring this image. Well, we're successful in putting this on here, and now we got to just be careful. There's excess glue, of course. You can see it on here because I put glue everywhere, and so I'm just not going to touch it. It will dry clear. Now get rid of this tape, not needed anymore. Okay, good, not lifting anything. Glad to see that. And one more. Okay, there we go. All right, now I'm going to take some liberty here. First, I'm going to cover up my gel medium so it doesn't keep making more crusties or boogers, as I like to call them. But I'm going to take a clean brush and I'm going to smooth out that glue from around without getting on top of the paper. That's just so we don't have to see additional film, or at least feather it out a little bit. And I'm pretty much doing this moving away from the image. Looks like it's working. Another good idea. All right. I'm gonna dab, just dab here, dab. I don't want to go across the paper. Get some of these vines out of here. Just dab. And worst case, if I get any glue on the back of the paper, it's going to require rubbing to remove the paper because the moisture won't be able to get through the paper if it's sealed with the glue. That's why you don't want to get any glue on the back of the paper. Okay, in case you're wondering. All right, I think that it looks pretty good. Nice little cleanup. Yeah, there we go. And when we spray the whole thing, you won't see the difference between the glue and the non-glue and all that. It'll all look really good. But there you go. So now what we do is we're going to wait for this thing to set up after a few hours before we do anything else with it. Whatever. Plug this, just lay that right there, right on top, and just let it do its thing. I'm not going to put anything on top of it. It looks like it's got good contact that I can see here. So make sure I got a little bit popping up. I'm going to get that down. But other than that, that looks pretty good. So I'm going to leave it alone, let it warm up, cure, and then we'll moisten and start peeling paper off and see what we got left. Okay, it's the next day in the afternoon. Looks like about 2 o'clock in the afternoon. So this has had more than 24 hours of curing, relaxation, saunas, pedicures, and the whole bit. So now I've unplugged this mat. It's all done. Getting it out of the way. And now what we're going to do is we're going to moisten this for the final reveal, and hopefully we have what we want. So I'll just put this underneath here to catch some of the water if necessary, and let's start moistening. Hopefully, if we didn't get glue on too much of the paper on the other side here, on this side, we can see it soaking in really good here. So far it looks like nothing is preventing the moisture from getting to the other side of the paper, which is what we want. Make sure it's really nicely moistened. There's no timing, like you don't have to rush this part, so just make sure that it's definitely moistened. And then when you're ready to peel the paper off, and you feel that it's soaked up that water like a sponge, like you can see here, and I'm going to bring this up close for you. You can see that it's soaked up the water, all right? Now what we're going to do is take a clean paper towel, just take up the excess. So we don't need it. And start peeling this off carefully. So I need to start from an end somewhere. So let's see if I can get that to come up. Don't peel your image off now, just carefully. Look what I'm doing. I'm just carefully just running this across the top like this until I get something that I can grab onto and then peel. All right. Maybe use my little plastic one. Even better than using the metal one. Just take it off. A little bit here, get that to peel up, a little bit here, get that to peel up. You don't want to scrape up your image that you have underneath, of course, especially with these skinny areas like here. Just like that. just wet paper, so it tears like wet paper, in case you're wondering. Since it's not a solid sheet, but it's got all these designs and everything in it, it's not unusual that I'm going to have to do this in multiple pills here. They're just going to tear it every corner. All right, everybody. Finally, success. Look at that. Isn't that beautiful? You have the background with the light, like an African background, really light. You have the safari masked by the lions, stenciled shape, elephants, and other things, birds. That's beautiful. That is so frameable. You know, you can sign your name like it's a painting. You spray it. You can protect it with your Mod Podge. I got glaze. I'm going to use Mod Podge glaze on this. Just pour that on. And just okay, it's sticky. I'm going to let it dry. There it is. Thank you so much for watching this video. If you enjoyed it or found it helpful, please give it a thumbs up because it really helps support this channel and it lets me know that you want to see more. And don't forget to subscribe and click the notification bell
so that you'll be the first to be notified when I upload new content. And again, I want to thank you for watching, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye.